Where my girls at? Where my girls at? Independent, free spirit. Ooh, it's something serious. Where my girls at? We link up in a cool minute. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right.
Where my girls at? It's going down. It's going down on this thankful Tuesday. Where my girls at? Where my girls at? Oh my goodness, it is Tuesday, and you know it is 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you are listening to We Got Issues with the Force of Friendship on 910 a.m. the Superstation-WFDF, and we are right here broadcasting from Detroit, but it's heard all over the world, and we're excited to be here with you again on this and Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. And we always come with some issues. Sometimes the issue is us, I promise you, trying to get everything together for this show. But yesterday we had a great show. It was kind of light. And today is going to be another fun-filled show, kind of serious, but we're going to keep it light. We're going to be talking about gossiping. I'm saying it early on so you can call your girlfriends that you know who they are. Y'all get together and you gossip about this and you gossip about that. You know, I used to love to watch In Living Color, and the one character on there, she said, now, I'm going to tell you something, but you didn't hear it from me, right? So we all have a girlfriend that'll tell you something. Say, now, don't you tell nobody I said it. So
we got a lot of girlfriends.
You got a girlfriend that likes to gossip. If you know that you've gossiped before, because if we're honest, we all have, we want you to call in and talk to us about gossiping. You can reach us at 313-778-7600, or maybe you're going to call in because you were the victim of gossiping. Somebody was gossiping about you. We want you to share with us what that was all about. But I'm excited to be here on today with my girls. My girls are here. We're only missing one. We almost had perfect attendance, but we're missing our girlfriend, Sabrina Goodwin Monday. You guys know we talked a little bit about it yesterday. She and her husband, Kenny, they have finally landed in London. I'm sure they're going to get some rest, and the celebration is going to begin. You guys know we celebrated Sabrina's birthday just a week or so ago, and so they're in London. I'm sure they're going to be celebrating that and just having a fantastic time. And so I'm sure Sabrina's probably under the bed, under the cover somewhere, but if she's listening, we want to give her and Kitty a shout out and say, you guys enjoy yourself in London. Have a fantastic time, because we know when you guys get back, you got to hit the ground running. We talked about Kenny and his new promotion to being the head coach of wrestling at Morgan State University. We're so excited for him. And yet again, they're moving to the Baltimore, Maryland area. So again, we're super excited about that promotion. And I know that HBCU College is going to be so blessed because Kenny Monday is at the helm of the wrestling activities there. And so we have Caterina Harris Earl. She's looking fly. If you're not watching us live, those of you that listen on the radio, but I promise you, if you haven't caught us live on the Force of Friendship Facebook page or the 910 a.m. Facebook page, you're missing these sisters. When I tell you, they be bringing their A game, okay? So Caterina is looking fly in that yellow hat. You know, she knows that's my favorite color. So the voice in my head is saying she wore that hat.
You made me buy it.
So thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
She's looking so fly. And then, of course, we have Gloria from Ellicott City, Maryland. She is here with us on today. So before we start talking about gossiping, Caterina, talk to us a little bit. What's going on in your neck of the woods? What's happening in the news? I know you got some tea.
Oh yeah. Well, just in our neck of the woods, what's a blessing is my husband is safe and sound in Cape Town. He just called me and said good night. Okay, because it's the end of 11. You know, y'all know I love a steak. And my favorite steak, I think me and you talked about this, Chris, but my favorite steak I've ever had, I could go to the restaurant right now on the waterfront in Cape Town. You could see Table Mountain. And he just texted a few hours ago and said, I'm sitting at your restaurant. I said, okay, haters don't hate. I see you. He don't even like steak, okay? So he just went there just so he can get a good picture because he went without me. But it's a blessing. It really is a blessing. But I'm telling you, it's some news, Chris. We are talking about the extension of this global warming issue. And so yes. I have two things to talk to you about global warming. The first one is primarily affecting California, and the second one affecting everybody. They said that next to, if you watch anything with CNN, they said that even greater than the big earthquake, that the last big one was in October of 1989. I was at Gold's Gym on the leg machine. I can remember it like it was yesterday. I thought somebody was moving the leg machine. But they said that even bigger than that is a mega flood that is going to come in the next 40 to 50 years. We have so much drought. The ground is so rough, it's like concrete. And they said that in the central coast of California, it will rain for 3 to 4 weeks. And normally it rains not in the mountains. Normally there's snow in the mountains and rain in the valley. But because of global warming, there will be rain in the mountains and rain in the valley at the same time. And all that rain will come down and will cause a flood so big. Y'all, this sounds like Noah. It sounds like I need to build an ark. It said that it will rain for 43 days. There'll be 30 feet of water, and it will cause $1 trillion worth of damage that will impact 37 million people. 5 times worse than Katrina in California.
Wow.
Is that the U-Haul? Is that the U-Haul? I see coming up your house. That's got to be the U-Haul.
Right.
That has got to be the U-Haul.
A U-Haul. You know, we keep plenty of miles. I'm like, we gonna be like United. I'm going, how far can I get from here? I mean, is that crazy? I mean, $1 trillion, 5 times worse than Katrina. That's all you need to hear from Katrina today. That's crazy.
I can't even imagine that.
That makes my head hurt so bad. Because, you know,
this is like,
it goes fast. You know, 30 years goes fast, 20 years goes fast, 50 years go fast. You're going to look up and it's going to be, that's that rain they was talking about. That cloud don't look like it's going away.
The other part of that, too, is, I mean, you think 40 years from now and you add that on to whatever you are and you think, well, you know, I'm not going to be as impacted because of where I'll be in my life at the time. But the bigger picture is, you know, we want this earth to survive for our kids and our children's children. You know, you can't just think about the earth, you outlasting or living long enough and the earth is still okay. But when you think about what you just said, Katrina, I just think about the children. I think about what the earth looks like now. I don't have any grandchildren now, but hopefully they'll be coming sooner than later. And what kind of planet is it going to be for them? And so that's really sad when you think about that. Now, when they talk about that flood, is it close to where you live? What part of California is it going to affect?
Clearly, if there's 30 feet of water, number one, it's going to be some people outside my house trying to get inside because I would be the part that they would drive to. This would be where those 37 million people have to come to. But Sacramento, they said like where the state capital is, would be flooded. The Sacramento River would be just overflowed. And the central part, Fresno, that Central Valley, which would mean California's number one industry is agriculture. So all that agriculture, that's where all the agriculture is, all of it flooded. And the last part I'll say about that is California has a water issue, not just with the drought, but a drinking water issue. Like, we don't have enough water, and we get our waters from those rivers, but they said the oceans will overflow into the rivers. So now those fresh water will be salt water, and it will not be drinkable. So we will not have drinking water. Like, I mean, we're talking catastrophic. This is like, Independence Day movie stuff. Like,
exactly.
I see the U-Haul truck. That's what I see. I see a U-Haul truck for real.
But the thing is,
Chicago, you might as well start there. You be cold, but you would dry. Lord.
But listen, this is the other thing. Fortune magazine says, will you live in America's extreme heat belt in 30 years? Chicagoans pay attention. A growing region in the U.S. currently are home to 100 million Americans will have temperatures as high as 125 degrees in the next 3 decades. And it will last for like a month or longer. It's called the extreme heat belt.
I heard that this morning.
You said
Texas,
what, Gloria?
Louisiana.
I heard that it's a large percentage of Americans will be in that heat, up to 125 degrees for a month sitting in that heat. And it's coming in the next 20, 30 years. It's not long out. It's not far. Like, it's not far.
Wow. And when you hear all of this, you just don't hear a whole lot of solutions of, what we can do. And it sounds as if, some of the things that we can do is almost, and I've heard scientists say that we are really at the critical point where moving the needle would take so much that they don't even know that we can move the needle far enough to make a difference. And that's kind of scary.
They've been talking about this emergency state for a long time, and they keep ringing the bell. 10 years ago, it was a big emergency. 5 years ago, it was a big emergency, and you still have scientists saying that it doesn't exist. It's a big emergency.
Al Gore has been saying it for how many years? And everybody said he was crazy. But did you guys hear that? I don't think it was a Harvard professor, but somebody can help me. There's some scientists that are affiliated with a very prominent university that lock themselves to the banks. They lock themselves to some Chase banks. I think they picked Chase because they have they support a lot of people that have a really terrible carbon footprint or something. And they have locked themselves to the banks to try to say, if you don't pay attention to us, this is a problem. Like, these scientists came out and said, we are willing to go to jail over this. Like, we're trying to tell you. I don't know, but nobody, we got other issues, and that don't affect me. So it's not my money right now. They're making too much money off of, but it's that. So that's the news. that's the tea about. That's what the planet said. Gossip about me today. Okay,
talk about me.
Like, I'm gonna be here. Right. Y'all won't be here, but I'm gonna be here. The earth will be here. Is whether you will be here.
Wow. Gloria, what's going on down there in Ellicott City?
We fine. We ain't got no news. We're not going to burn up. We're not going to flood. We're not going to fall off. We don't have no snowstorms. We don't have no hurricanes. We're doing just fine. The only problem we have is that we live next to Washington, D.C. They got their own issues, right? They got their own issues. You don't know if it's going to come on January 6th, January 16th, January 26th. You don't know when the problem's going to come. But living next to the White House is an issue in and of itself. However, I can still drive up and down. I can get on the subway. I can get on the highway. Nothing's rolling over me. There's no skiing over here either. So you pay off on the other, but we're doing great. Just great right here. It was 80 degrees. I wasn't sweating today. It was fabulous. It was fabulous. Lord, none of that. And, and that's true. It's funny. We talk about the weather. It's interesting how when we introduce ourselves, we talk a lot about the weather because it has a lot to do with your life. And it has a lot to do. And here it's very, very calm weather. Like I've had one earthquake, and there's the music. So it's absolutely fabulous here in Maryland.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's good to know. Well, you guys, listen, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to start talking about the truth about gossiping. So we want you to lean in. If it's you, just say, ouch. I'm going to do better. If you got a girlfriend that you know needs to listen to us today, have her listen in and call in 313-778-7600. We're talking all things gossiping. You're listening to We Got Issues with the Force of Friendship on 910 a.m. The Superstation. We'll be right back.
That's good. That's good.
Heard it through the grapevine. Thank you, Michael, for that song. That is the perfect song. I heard it through the grapevine. Well, we are talking about gossiping. And you know what? If we are honest with ourselves, at some point in our lives, I believe that most people have gossiped. I believe that most people have gossip, either brought it or took it somewhere else. Now, of course, we got issues and we are becoming better people because of it. So whether you have, whether you have gossiped in the past and now you don't gossip at all, you get a big round of applause. And some of us are still working on not being a gossiper. So real quickly, let me just tell you about, what is gossip. And so the first thing is you got to consider what the motive is for gossip. And there's several reasons why people gossip. It could be jealousy, it could be acceptance, and it could also be gaining power. It almost always focuses on lifting yourself up, okay, and pushing others down. So therein, right there, is a problem. And so when you say things about people behind their backs that are hurtful, that are derogatory, and unconfirmed, believe it or not, it reflects on who you are. I heard somebody say a person that will bring a bone is the same person that will take a bone. And what they mean is when people bring you gossip about other people, just know that one day they're going to take gossip about you to someone else, because that's just who they are. And so sometimes gossip is about seeking revenge. As sometimes if a boyfriend dumps you, you figure, okay, I'm going to talk about him and I'm going to gossip about them. And sometimes it is, a form of intimidation. And they say sometimes people gossip because they are bored. Let me real quickly give you some gossiping facts, okay? And it's gossip mongering. Okay, according to an interesting study, people gossip 52 minutes a day on an average in their 16 waking hours. 52 minutes a day on an average in 16 waking hours. And this is a real interesting fact. Women don't engage in tear down gossip any more than men. And men would absolutely say that women gossip more than men, but research finds that that's not the case. According to researchers from the University of California, Riverside, lower income people don't gossip more than their more well-to-do counterparts, and younger people are more likely to gossip negatively than their older counterparts. And then the last thing I'll say is extroverts versus introverts. Extroverts, and I know we got at least one on the show. Extroverts gossip, and one is missing, okay? Extroverts gossip far more frequently than introverts. Okay,
that's because they talk more. That's all. It ain't got nothing to do with the topic. It's just because they talk. And so when they talk, an introvert who wrote that article tried to put it on us. Go ahead.
Okay. Extroverts gossip far more frequently than introverts, while women gossip more than men, but only in neutral information sharing groups that the findings found. So we'll just start there, and then we're going to talk about, some of the things that happen when you gossip about people, and why, if that is something that you do, you probably want to stop doing it, because there's really no good form of gossiping. And so I'm sure, all of us can think of a time in our life when we have participated in gossip. But, how many of you have stories of when you have been the victim of gossiping? And so if you have, and you want to share your story, give us a call. We'd love to hear what people were gossiping about you. And you know what I have found is really a lot of time gossiping is, most of the time, a lot of it isn't true, because the reason it continues to get perpetuated is you hear gossip from a friend, and sometimes you hear it from a friend that you trust, but then you don't know they heard it from a friend that they trust, and they heard it from a friend that they trust, and all of these friends aren't trustworthy, right? And so you find yourself passing along information that is not steeped in any form of truth. I know for a fact when the pandemic started, when I tell you social media blew up with so many articles and people saying, drink this, eat this, do this, turn around 3 times and you won't get COVID. And a lot of stuff, it sounds so true. I passed it on, and let's be clear, I got stuff from Caterina, I got stuff from Gloria. We were passing stuff left and right. And how many times did we have to come back and say, y'all, that was a hoax, y'all, that wasn't even true, because if we're honest, sometimes we don't even vet stuff. We just send it out only to find out what we said.
It sounded so good. It was so true. Juicy. We ain't vetted. I'm trying to pass it off as fast as possible.
Bernetta said, I heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend who heard it from another friend.
And that's how gossiping starts. So who wants to talk about a time where you gossip, and if you felt bad about it, or were you the victim of gossiping?
Okay, wait. Okay, wait. Let me just say this, okay? My mother, God rest her soul. But not so much that she gossiped, but just that it was so much fun. We need to talk about the laughter of gossip, because you can talk about the negativity of gossip, but if you talk about the laughter that it causes you, you don't necessarily mean harm unless the other person hears you, right? But my mother used to laugh so hard. I was like, what is going on the phone? And she'd be like, ah! And you know she was talking about somebody, or her girlfriend was talking about her somebody. So I just have to say that you start leaning in when you're around people who laugh about gossipy situations. And then I know, Caterina, you may not be able to identify this, but you know, we start young when you have sisters. When you have sisters, come on, Chris, you know you have some sisters, and they be talking about people, and they like, you can't talk, you can't be part of this conversation. You're too young. I know your friend. I can't wait till your friend comes over here so I can tell her what you said about her. I mean, it just would be so much craziness when you're young, either because you're watching somebody who enjoys it so much, or because your own sisters are talking about it. Next thing you know, they're talking about you, and you're listening underneath the door, like, well, are y'all talking about me? No, girl, we're not talking about you. Oh my goodness. I got stories galore. But
it's like a need to know basis, and some stuff you need to know. Like, you're not with him no more. They're not together anymore. Really? They're together. What happened? I was like, I was about to call her and wish her a happy anniversary, so I needed to know. Is that really gossiping, or is that not gossiping? Girl, you didn't know? Well, her boobs look bigger. Well, she got a boob job. She did, girl. Her butt too. I mean, for real, when did that happen? How'd she do that? I didn't, some stuff you just need to know. So,
right. What about this one, Caterina? Oh, she don't have on a wedding ring. What's that mean? I don't know. He don't have on his ring. Oh, what that mean? And it don't mean nothing, but sometimes be like,
right.
We be
and
looking.
You know what, you guys? I think there are times where it can be harmless and it's not that big of a deal. And so, you know, and inquiring minds want to know. That's why there's billions of dollars. When you go to check out from your groceries, you see the Inquirer magazine. And you know what I've learned if I'm in a long line, I just pick it up. And by the time it's time for me to put my groceries on the belt, I've already read all of the juiciness and whatnot. And then, of course, we know there are times where the celebrities will come back and they'll sue the magazines because all of the stuff they wrote in there, the gossip or whatever, wasn't true. And so I think many of them have said, you know, being a celebrity, that's just par for the course. But yeah, there are times where you absolutely want to know. And everybody has probably that girlfriend that just has all the tea. I won't say who the girlfriend of the four of us is, but I'll just say this. She's not on today. Okay.
She just, you know.
So you took her place as messiness. You took her place as messiness.
And she goes, and guess what?
She is not on today. But if you want to know something,
not on today.
And if she's listening to this, she talking about you behind your back, okay? Because if you think among us, we are the gossiping is people about each other, because it will be like, did you see her? Yes. Did you see her out there? Look what she's doing over there. I mean, I'm telling you, before you can pick up the phone and call, before I can pick up the phone and call Chris and tell her something went down, somebody already told her. Okay. So I don't know. Maybe that's not.
And I'm always the one on the wrong text. And unless y'all got a group of girlfriends, remember the girlfriend that's on the wrong text. Okay. I'm always on the leftover text. I just want to let y'all know. So sometimes you don't find out until you in the wrong circle, you in the wrong room. And then when you bring it up to them, that's when all the eyeballs start rolling. Oh. You know, you got to be careful. You got to be in the right room.
Absolutely. So let me ask you guys, have you ever been on the side where you were the person that was being gossiped about and you heard about it? Maybe somebody came and said it. Talk to us about that, Caterina.
You know, I wasn't married till I was 45, so I had some special people in my life along the way. And I know way back in college, in high school, I know my girlfriends, they would tell me, girl, we used to be talking about you and like, when's she going to get rid of him? When is she going to get rid of him? All that comes out. It comes out. And, you know, it's like, you know, why you didn't tell me? If you knew, especially there was one guy that I dated in college, and I had some good girlfriends. They're girlfriends right now to this day. And I'm like, y'all could have pulled me to the side and told me, and saved me a couple of years. Okay. Maybe I wouldn't have listened. Maybe I would have listened. But yeah, college girlfriends for sure. Even sorority sisters.
Wow. Okay, got it. Well, listen, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we got a caller. Bernetta is on the line. So hold on, Bernetta. We're going to come to you right after this break. You listen to We Got Issues with the Force of Friendship on 9:10 a.m. The Superstation. We're talking about gossiping. If you love the gossip or you have girlfriends that gossip, you absolutely want them to tune in. Have them give us a call at 313-778-7600. We'll be right back. Oh, Michael, you got the music. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys, if you're just joining us, you are listening and watching We Got Issues with the Force of Friendship on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation. And we are talking about gossiping, the truth about gossiping. Are you a gossiper? Do you enjoy people telling you stuff about other people? Or do you think, hey, the gossip that I engage in is lighthearted and nobody gets affected? So we absolutely want to hear your story. So feel free to give us a call at 313-778-7600. But we have Bernetta on the line. Hey, Bernetta, are you there?
Hi, I'm right here. Okay, talk to us, Bernetta. Are you a gossiper or do you like to receive gossip or neither? Somehow I was always that girlfriend who somehow had all the tea, but I didn't like to gossip. The fun part about having all the tea is you knew who was lying. And I could just sit back and sip my tea and just enjoy the show. You know, the only two good things I ever heard come out of gossip. I heard it through the grapevine and Take It on the Run by REO Speedwagon, because the middle of that song is the whole tale of gossip. I know the neighborhood, and talk is cheap when the story is good, and the sales grow taller on down the line. I mean, I hate seeing what gossip does to other people. Mm-hmm. I really do, because the negative. Why do they bring it to you? And now I will share fashion tips. I will share fashion tips and like the newest trends in beauty. But other than that, no. So why do people bring the gossip to you if you're not a gossiper? Well, I'm in my circle. I'm usually the quiet one. Even when we were younger, I'm like the one out of the group that you could not, that like you couldn't find foolery on with my name attached to it. Because I was the soror who collected the pictures, burnt the negatives, and threatened the witness. No foolery. Okay, got it. Well, Bernetta, we thank you for giving us a call. And you know what? You must be a very trustworthy person. People can share with you, and they can rest assured that you are not going to spread it on to the next person. We appreciate you listening and calling. We got issues.
Bernetta, thank you for calling. Well, you guys, you know, one of the things that, you know, when we were younger, I remember in school when they were kind of teaching the lesson about gossiping about other people and spreading negative things. Do you guys remember? I remember my teacher would have us all stand in a line and then have somebody whisper something, and then that person whispers it to the next person, and you keep doing. And then at the end of the line, that person tells you what the phrase was, what the word was, and it was just amazing. I don't think it ever came out right. It was never the right phrase because people either didn't hear all of it or they just totally changed the meaning of it. And it really was a great lesson of what kind of happens when gossiping, because you get some gossip and then by the time you put your personality in it and your slant on it, because somebody can share something with you and maybe you've seen something else. So you add in a little bit of your spice to it. And by the time that thing is ignited, it's probably have maybe 1% of the truth is in the gossiping. Right. And so real quickly, let me just share just a couple of things about gossiping and, you know, some of the harm that it causes. The first one is gossip destroys friendships and it divides people, because the very nature of gossip is adversarial. It pits the gossiper against the person being gossiped about, and it asks the listener to pick a side. And I'll tell you, you know, just being very transparent, you know, there have been times where, you know, somebody has shared information with me and I totally believe what they shared. And then, you know, come to find out, the information that they shared was the furthest from the truth. And so there are lessons that you learn along the way when people bring you things that, you know, I say you could be either one of two types of people. You either are going to be the garbage truck that brings the gossip, or you're going to be the garbage can that they put the gossip in. And it really doesn't feel good when you know, when you spread something and then later find out what you spread was not true. And then you gotta retract. So it's like putting that picture on social media that, you know, maybe it's a naked picture or a picture that doesn't show you in a very good light. And somebody brings it to your attention and you go and you say, let me take it down. Well, you took it down, but how many people screenshot it? How many people forward it? It's there forever. ever. So that's one of the harmful things about gossip, is that it really can divide friendships and divide people. Gloria, I think you were going to say something.
I was just going to say that, there's so many parts to the gossiping, that negative part. When you talked about the garbage truck or the garbage can, you don't really want to be either one of those, but if you're going to be one, you want to be the can. So you're not the one that's carrying it back and forth. But when you do get the information, you do want to know, what was it about me that made people want to give it to me? How did I conduct myself that I ended up in that piece?
Right.
Or
that's good.
What made me want to run down the hallway with my hair on fire to get to somebody so I can tell them the news? Because that's how we used to be in college. Woo, girl, let me go tell somebody. And then you wanted to be the first one to say it. And when you told somebody the news and they already knew it, you're like, you already knew it.
Gloria, you know what? You have a lot of the
emotions
that are wrapped into gossiping. I'm not going to say you're a gossiper, but you are articulating this so well.
I know.
So well.
Because it's all true. It's like on social media. They don't show it on social media, but they up there doing all that wrong stuff. Just because they don't show a drink on social media don't mean they don't drink. Just because they don't show parties on social media don't mean they don't party. Just because they act like they go to bed 11 o'clock on social media don't mean they went to bed. It's like all of that stuff going on. And so, when you go down and, oh my God, college was really good for it. It was really, really good. Oh, girl, I saw him with her. He was with her last night. Oh my God.
Remember that Ellen DeGeneres classic show where the woman called in and she said, "Oh yeah, I love Jesus, but I drink a little." Okay, if you saw any Ellen DeGeneres, you know that one. Oh yeah, we love Jesus, but we gossip a little. I mean, listen to this. I pulled up this article, Chris, from NBC News, and it says psychologists say gossiping is a social skill. Here's how to know if you're doing it right. Gossip is actually one of societal forces that bring us together and help maintain social order. But it talks about there's good and bad. A good gossiper is someone who people trust with information and someone who uses that information in a responsible way. When you
that would be me.
Yeah. When you find out the person your friend had a crush on has a bad reputation. So you're not talking about your friend, you're talking about the dude she dumped. Okay. So that is but of course, if it's anything that can harm a person or it's just harsh and it can hurt a relationship. You're gossiping about her husband and they are, married. That's out of order and not acceptable. But
okay, so psychologists say there's good gossiping and bad gossiping. Okay, so Caterina, real quick, can you read what Mercedes said about the lady that she knows?
Yeah, let me get over here. Oh, she said,
okay,
I know a lady that gossips 24/7. I told her to stop talking about people and her friends. I think something is missing in her life. She's single and no children. I think she's miserable. My daughter said she's talking about you, Mom. My husband said the same. I don't know what she can say about me. So sad. Say something nice. And we all know people that are like that it's just, that's all they do is talk about everybody else all the time. And that is a problem. That is a problem.
But let me talk about this. Let's talk about this, where gossiping, sometimes it could be something you should depend on. For instance, when my ex-husband married my friend's wife, and she started calling the police on my ex-husband like I used to call the police. And so she called me up and she said, Gloria, did you ever have to call the police on your first husband? I was like, what rock were you under? Yes, I called them, and I called them a lot, and I can't believe you didn't know, because she was married to my best friend. So they should have gossiped. They should have said something. She should have said something, but she had no clue. And because she was clueless, because they didn't gossip like they should have, she's in the same issue. She got domestic violence like I did. Problem. She must have been an introvert. Problem.
Sometimes you need to speak up.
Now that is a funny place to end this segment of the show. We're talking about gossiping. And you know what? Before the show, I didn't think that some good stuff could come out of gossiping, but y'all kind of changing my mind. Oh my goodness. You listen to, we got issues. We got some issues around gossiping. So again, we want to hear your gossip story. Share it with us. Call us 313-778-7600. We'll be right back after this break. Oh yeah, Michael. Thank you. Yes. Gotta be starting something. And I'm gonna tell you, gossip will always start something. But you know what? I guess what I'm finding out in this conversation is there can be good gossip and helpful gossip, and then there is the bad gossip, okay? Because gossip, it can be harmful. It can absolutely ruin reputations. I remember when I was in college, it was probably my sophomore, no, it was probably like my junior year. And I had two roommates at the time. We were staying in an apartment, and it was double beds and then a single bed. And my roommates thought I was asleep, and they were gossiping about me. I remember, they were talking about me so bad. And I'm saying to myself, are y'all for real? It's not like they're in separate rooms. They were in the same room as me. And I'm saying to myself, they really are talking about me, and I'm sitting here. So what I did was I didn't say anything, but I let them finish. And when they finished, I got up and went to the bathroom because I wanted them to know that I heard everything they said. And I just thought, how
What
just
they do,
brazen
Chris?
was
What they
that?
do? They just act
It
like
got,
nothing was.
they act like, look, they probably started snoring like they were asleep. But I promise you, as soon as they finished their last sentence, the way I got back, I never confronted, I never said anything to them. I just got up and I went to the bathroom because I wanted them to know I heard everything y'all said about me. And I'm telling you, I was like, that's a lot of nerve to talk about somebody that's in the room. Okay. So that was
You sure you from
definitely
Detroit?
it.
You sure you from Detroit? You ain't get no Vaseline. You ain't take your earrings off. You ain't pull it off. Girl, you know one of them had to have a ponytail. That was your friend. One of them had a ponytail. Something like that.
Gloria,
I ain't never done it, but
Gloria,
come on now.
what would you have done? Talk about what you would have done.
Let me see what I done. I probably would have woke up while they were talking about it. Y'all talking about me? I probably been all up in it, like, y'all talking about me for real. Well, let me tell you a little bit about yourself. You know, I wouldn't have done nothing. I'd have been just like you, holding up under the bed. Wishing they was my friend. I thought they was my friend.
And then what you would definitely do is not trust them with anything again. I know one thing, even if I didn't say anything right then, it'd be like, okay, I know how y'all are. And I would have went and told somebody with that thing. I would have gossiped about them to somebody else. You ain't gonna believe what they did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You had to go tell everybody how they talked about you.
Yeah.
And you know what? One of the other things too, you know, when people are so into gossiping, and we may know individuals that always are talking about something, it's as one of our viewers were saying, those are people that don't have a life, because if you are talking about people every day, it means that you don't have a life. I mean, all you do is sit around listening or, you know, trying to get information on other people. You know, you really need to check yourself and say, hey, you know what? Life is bigger than that. And especially when it's derogatory stuff, especially when it's negative things. And one of the things that really stops me from, you know, passing along stuff that's negative is because I truly believe you reap what you sow. And you know what? Hey, I'm not perfect. And I always think, you know what? If you want to receive grace, you better give grace. Because if you're that person that's always talking about other people, guess what? That pendulum swings both ways. And so when there's stuff to talk about on you, trust me, the same way you talked about other people, people are going to talk about you. So that keeps me centered, like, nope. I don't want to be on the other end of that.
Oh, you need
to
sure.
It didn't come natural. What did you say? Because she said you need to teach that
lesson. You need to teach that lesson a lot more. You need to teach that lesson a lot more. We need to be reminded that it's going to come back at you in this life. What did you say, Katrina?
It's the truth. I said it didn't come natural for me because, you know, like you said, not having sisters, it wasn't a natural thing. You actually can be a little socially awkward. I could relate a little bit to what Bernetta was saying about being the quiet one in some groups. But I will tell you, my biggest barometer now is my husband. I mean, when I tell you that man will correct you, if someone asks him something that can be seen a little bit as gossip, his response is, how will that benefit you if I told you that answer? How is that going to benefit you in your growth? And I'm like, you know what? You just get so religious. Just answer the people and tell them.
Just tell them the tea.
Word. Proverbs 29 said, "Don't." I mean, you know, and you know he's right. He's telling the truth. Jesus.
You know he's right. You know he's right.
He will, and he will pull my coattail. He will correct. You know, and sometimes I'm like, you know what, you a man, and that's just women talking. But there are times that he says, and I say, you know what, I do have to go back and I have to ask for forgiveness around that or that, because it can get so juicy that you just are like, what happened now, really? You know, Because it can. I mean, I know everybody can relate to it. Anybody who says they don't gossip, they lie about other things too. Okay.
Right.
But
Exactly.
it is, you know, so, but that man will correct. I'm like, you know what? You take all the fun out. I ain't talking to you. Okay, let me go down. Talk to my mama. Let me talk to the dog. Let me talk to somebody else.
The other piece of it is, I've seen a lot of quality women do this. They might talk about the person, but then they tell the person what the problem is. Girl, we was just over there talking about your panty line showing, but I thought maybe you might want to know. We go over there and tell them what we're talking about. Someone has brought that to your attention, and then you do something about it. So there's another example when they meant to do mean, but it can turn out to be good because that woman may never have known that was an issue until you bring it to her attention.
Yeah, and I mean, and in that instance, it's really good. And I mean, like you said, there are times where, you know, gossip is lighthearted and you can laugh about it, and you go to the person and say, oh yeah, we were talking about your ear should have been burning because we were talking about you. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's when, you know, again, you can help them out, especially if it's something that they need to know. But all in all, you know, when you think about gossip, you just want to be very careful because people, they can really be hurt. And I'm going to tell you, there are instances where, you know, people have chosen to break off relationships because of the person bringing them gossip so much, because it tells them a lot about the character of that person. So, you know what? Word to the wise, you know, those that will carry a bone will bring a bone, and you don't want to be the bone that they're talking about next week. So, you know what? Don't be a gossiper. Change your ways. And if you are an extrovert, like a couple of our girlfriends on We Got Issues, you got to really, really, really be careful.
Welcome from a true introvert. Welcome from a true introvert. Whatever.
You guys, you've been listening to We Got Issues with the Force of Friendship. We are talking about gossiping today. Tomorrow is going to be another exciting, amazing show that you don't want to miss. So join us tomorrow at 6 p.m., 6 to 7. We'll see you then. Bye-bye. Have a good evening.